99% of them, because there are messages, there are screenshots, and there is physical proof. But the thing is, you can't physically prove something that happened in high school. So originally I read it and I was incredibly wary. I looked at this and I thought, if this is true, then he's done for. But I need more evidence than just some random Twitter account that was created yesterday to tweet it out. Because currently, I'm not believing a single thing that's being said. The first thing they decided to do was say, please retweet this so people could know what a piece of shit James Charles is, and so my friend can get some kind of justice for what James did to him. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me. I'll be happy to answer anything. They then followed it up an hour later with, yes, I believe my friend. He has absolutely nothing to gain about lying about this, and only around 2% of sexual assault accusations are fake. As a victim of sexual assault, I believe other victims. I could tell by the look on my friend's face and the tears streaming down it, he wasn't lying. So please, stop invalidating his abuse. That is why victims never report it and why sexual assault was allowed under a rug, swept for so long in society. Boys especially feel ashamed of coming out as a sexual assault survivor because of the stigma. So for me, I always believe victims over abusers. Please, it's 2019. Let's not go back to the old barbaric ways. Victim blaming and doubting assault victims only helps the predators. Do you know what actually helps the predators? Making up a fake, fabricated story about how somebody is a sexual predator when they aren't. Because that's really going to stop people coming forward. Because it makes people like me look at these stories and think, how much of this is actually true if people could just go on the internet and spout up a terrible story like this and it receives tens of thousands of retweets. It's disgusting behaviour. This is a crime. And I can't believe people are getting away with this. And you may be saying, currently, Alex, you've not proven that this isn't real. You've not proven anything about it. Well, I'm about to. What's the proof, you ask, that they're going to provide at the end of this? What exactly is it that they're going to enlighten us with? A picture of James Charles in the 8th grade. It's Googleable. Anybody could get a hold of that. It's literally on Google Images. Now, when I first saw this, I was convinced this story was going to start getting real because of the fact that it's so hard for people to come forward, especially surviving these things, and that is completely true what they've written here. But then they decided that they would post screenshots of a private DM conversation that James Charles had with them, the account holder, about the accusations they had posted. Now he has DM'd me on my Instagram as well. He is disgusting. There is no justification for what he did, and the fact he's trying to justify it by saying he didn't say no is sickening. Silence does not equal consent. But if you look in the screenshot that they've added to this, you could quite clearly see that the @ and the font is misplaced and the screenshot isn't even real. That doesn't even look like a real Instagram DM. Everything is off center. It's not even real. They fabricated the entire story and then used a fake Instagram DM to try and sell it. Which is disgusting. I mean, I understand that people don't like him at the moment, and trust me, it's pretty much all justified. But to make a story up like this is so disheartening. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you think about him, he's a person too. And making up lies like this, which will follow him for the rest of his life. It's unbelievable. Because it's going to make it so much harder for other people who actually are victims of James Charles, or victims of other people, to come forward and say anything about it. It makes me sick when I read this. I felt physically ill. About the fact that people will go this far to try and create a trending topic. I honestly am so disappointed, disheartened, upset over reading something like this. Because so many people believed it. Now, I then decided that I was going to call them out on Twitter, because I don't care whether people want to believe the James Charles story, because that seemed to be the one thing that people were doing. They so cared so little about the actual truth and actual victims of the situation, they just started replying with, like, memes and Slay Queen and that's the T-sister to the fucking tweets. And it's disgusting. So I quote tweeted it and I was like, I don't give a fuck about how much you hate James Charles. I really don't care. I literally made a video on him saying that he's disgraceful. I've unfollowed him on Twitter. I don't want to be anything a part of that. But you can't go ahead and just make stuff up about him and use fake screenshots. So then they deleted their one and reposted it with a more believable screenshot. I can't believe that. So I just quote tweeted again and told him to shut up. And you may be sat here thinking, well, I believe the screenshots. You know, the screenshots are all completely real. You know, there's no way, shape or form that any of this could be fake. There's no way but it's not real. They then decided to post these tweets about the situation. Well, they admitted that none of it was real in the first place. I'm literally sick to my stomach. The responses and DMs I've gotten have been horrific. They have literally re-traumatized me and made me flashback. This is why victims never speak up. They aren't believed. Yes, the DM was photoshopped. Oh, come on. I don't even have to read anything else from that point onwards. You're a liar. You fabricated the entire situation. What is wrong with you? I don't want to see people who are abusing their power getting away with it. You know, that's why I constantly stand up to anybody and anything I know who's getting away with stuff like this, because I do not want people like that being able to get to more people, especially with the outreach they have. But when you go on the internet and you lie about these type of things, you make it impossible for people to actually hold people accountable, and that's why so many people get away with this stuff scot-free. I have nothing else to say in this video. I hope you guys watched it. I don't really know what else to add, but please, if there is something like this that has happened, come forward if you have anything to say. Don't be afraid of idiots like this. And also, please just check to see if what you are sharing to people is true, because these have such hard-hitting real implications on people. You know, whether you're a victim or a victim of a false allegation, both of them should be treated as just important as the other. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, people. I hope you guys have a better day than I am. See ya.